interesting dynamic. Could it be that Cyril Ramaphosa will be the first president of the ANC to finish 2 terms? He's arguably the most powerful out of all of the presidents of the ANC since democratic dispensation, and he's the most ruthless and most lethal, but very quiet and coy about it until he has to strike. Look at Ace Magashule as an example. Where is he today?
I woke up this morning and realized I've been completely wrong about President Cyril Ramaphosa. He is arguably the best president in post-apartheid South Africa. He's not spineless. He's courageous, fixing our economy, fighting corruption, and reducing crime. Or is he? Let's unpack the reality behind the carefully crafted narrative.
Cyril Ramaphosa, I got a lot of time for him, as you may by now know, but he can lie to you with a straight face. He can lie to you with a straight nose.
Welcome to Inkari. It's time. I'm Kunduz, and today we are taking a hard look at President Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership. Is he truly a visionary leader who has saved South Africa from disaster? Or is he the greatest failure in our democratic history? Some claim he has united the ANC, fixed ESCOM, and reduced crime. But when we analyze the facts, does this hold up? Let's break it down.
Be a moment pretty soon. Now, I know that Donald Trump and Cyril Ramaphosa had a phone call before Davos. Donald Trump didn't even greet him, didn't pay him any respect, and basically the message was to Cyril Ramaphosa, your time is coming, pal, you and the ANC. America will wait until an ambassador is in place and the Under-Secretary of State for Africa has been appointed. And watch those appointments, because the focus of those two people on behalf of Donald Trump and his organization, his MAGA, his cabinet, his government, are going to turn their spotlight onto the ANC and onto South Africa. And there are words, big trouble ahead for Cyril and his merry men in the next few months. It's going to happen. What exactly that means, we're yet to find out. But Cyril is running scared. And I know that because we've heard it from Gwede, Fikile, and all the people around him. Cyril basically came off that phone call with Donald Trump scared as hell. And that's a good thing.
Cyril Ramaphosa, the manufactured narrative versus reality. The myth. Ramaphosa has strengthened state institutions and improved the economy. The reality. Unemployment is at an all-time high. The economy is stagnant, with South Africa stuck in junk status. The cost of living has skyrocketed, and the rand is at its weakest.
He's now president of the country. He gave a laundry list of the things that he's done to create interventions against state capture, the NDPP appointments, the Nugent Commission, fixing SARS, fixing the PIC, bringing state security within his office. Do you think that while he may have known more, as you say, than he's told us about what might have been going on, that his long strategy, his long game strategy, was perhaps the right one?
It was a right strategy for him as a biographical project. In other words, he wanted his CV to record that he was once South Africa's president. He didn't care about the state of the nation. All the things that he mentions that he has done, by the way, have not left South Africa in a better shape. Look at the South African economy today. It is ravished. Unemployment, it is the highest as we speak. Look at state-owned companies, ESCOM. Has ESCOM been fixed? No, we're still battling with load shedding as we speak. Look at the whole security cluster, by the way. We had a mini civil war recently. Quite clearly was not in control of the security cluster. So yes, he mentioned things that he has done, but they have not been results for South Africa. He has benefited in the sense that he's now sitting in the Union building as president. But if you look at our country, it's in a terrible shape.
Corruption, governance, and the ANC's decline. The myth: Ramaphosa is a man of integrity, fighting corruption within the ANC. The reality: Phala scandal remains unanswered. ANC lost 17% of its voter base under his leadership. The party is more divided than ever, with internal factions tearing it apart.
Final question, and it goes back to where we started, Aubrey. Should President Cyril Ramaphosa step aside, given what's happening with Phala and Farmgate, as it's now become known?
Well, Sakina, if President Cyril Ramaphosa was a head of state in one of the countries whose democracies we mimic, who would have been forced to step aside or even step down by now. I agree with Dr. Mavuso Msimang that the president must foreground not his own narrow interests, must foreground the interests of the country first, and secondly, the interests of his party. If he does so, he will know that he has no other choice but to step down.
Crime and national security under Cyril Ramaphosa. The myth: South Africa is safer under his leadership. The reality: crime has surged, making South Africa one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Illegal immigration has reached crisis levels, with over 20 million undocumented foreigners. The SANDF is deployed in Congo with no clear national benefit. The political games and international relations. The myth: Ramaphosa is a strong international leader. The reality: the ICC case against Israel is seen as election-driven rather than genuine diplomacy. The failed Trump call could lead to US sanctions against South Africa. South Africa's stance on Rwanda is driven by misinformation and ANC propaganda.
The incompetence of Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa has performed worse than Zuma. And in my judgment, he's been the worst president in terms of performance since 1960 at least. So, and he needed to be removed from office from that. So the MK party and the EFF wanted him removed. So the DA put in a very nice sweetener of allowing him to stay and being his political bodyguard. And I suppose that was very sweet in the ear to the ears of the ANC cadres. I think that we must be aware that the ANC that we saw in 1994 and the ANC that elected Thabo Mbeki to be the president and allowed him to operate is very different from this ANC that has entered into this coalition. And whatever it becomes after this, it will never, I don't think, be able to ever represent that.
The statistics are clear that the ANC has failed in government and failed dismally, and Ramaphosa has been the worst president probably since 1960 in terms of performance, employment, and so on. There is nothing that the ANC can do now to say that they can do better. There's absolutely nothing they can do. More importantly, South Africans have got to move on into a period where all of us accept that we've got to appoint the most competent South Africans to all positions of responsibility, including the state president, because the state presidency has been a failure for a very long time in this country.
The people have spoken. Is Ramaphosa a leader without a nation? The ANC is losing public trust despite media protection and state backing. Unlike Zuma, Ramaphosa is disliked across all ethnic groups. South Africans see through the illusion.
You know, what you said, on the first day of the commission, I was delivering a memorial lecture of the Malawi ambassador. You know, that's where I met the true Cyril in that hall, when I see those videos, you know, and when I see the sadness. And so, this is the person publicly He used the platform of Mama Winnie Mandela when the nation was crying. And he told us lies. He promised things that even today, he has not fulfilled that. He will simply do a gesture by going and apologize to the Marikana widows or to the Marikana people who were at the receiving end of that email that he sent to the lawmen. And so, if we have a president who can go to KwaZulu-Natal, not visit a single family that was at the receiving end of the Phoenix native cleansing that happened there, what can we expect? What can we expect from such a president who is so heartless, who cannot simply give compassion and comforting to people that he claims to be the leader of them? And so we are dealing with this person who has nothing to do with us as South African citizens, who has his own personal mission. And that mission, as I'm saying, we need to be scared because we don't know what it is. And even the ANC that put him into power, they don't know what the agenda of Cyril is all about. But what we know, he is a hangman that has been hiding in plain sight.
Cyril Ramaphosa was marketed as South Africa's savior, but the reality is clear. He is everything we thought Zuma was: a failed leader, a puppet of white monopoly capital, and a disaster for South Africa. The people are waking up, and no amount of propaganda can change the truth. The question is, will South Africans hold him accountable at the ballot box? Do you think Cyril Ramaphosa has failed South Africa? Or do you believe he is unfairly criticized? Let's debate in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Inkari. It's time for more fearless analysis of South Africa's political landscape. Let's navigate life with purpose. Thank you for watching and take care.